Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic. Now, if you're asked, you have to say that you've been to Moreno Valley, California.
I literally will not remember that by tomorrow. That's how significant Moreno Valley was.
It was just kind of a blip on the radar.
It was not very exciting.
But we went there because there was a very gorgeous, handsome, sweet-looking wiener dog.
A red one.
Who was at the shelter, and he was coming available. And so the deal was we had to kind of rush out there. And I guess he was available at 10:13 a.m.
To the public,
but you had to wait as a rescue till 11:13 a.m. before you could pull the dog. And if the dog was still available at 11:13 a.m., you could pull the dog. Well, this guy had two people already waiting for him, both of them just John Q. Public. They weren't rescues, two other people waiting for him. And granted, we were second in line, but the way their rules go, we were automatically third in line because we were a rescue.
Well, I think we were technically the second rescue in line who put paperwork in for him. I think that's what it meant when they told us second in line.
Well, was the other lady a rescue? The one that was sitting there?
No,
just
they were
another
just two
person.
people adopted, but they walked in this morning to go adopt him. I don't think they put in the pre-paperwork like a rescue has to do.
Okay. Well,
that's what I think.
I'm just saying.
I could be wrong, of course.
I was glad that they were there because, like the lady said, if that lady doesn't take him, I'm taking him.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the lady said the other lady just lost her wiener dog.
Yeah.
I hope she got him.
We're out of here. You know? Like.
Yeah.
We just turned back around. But thankfully, you had the foresight to hold our vital factor meeting while we drove in the car. So, sure, we were on the move, but
on the move.
It also goes to show you that you can fit these things in while conducting business.
It was not the most pleasant thing to type on a laptop while driving. I have to say, I didn't think that 100% of the way through, and in hindsight, I would have charged my iPad and just used that.
Yeah.
It's a lot less motion-y.
It's not as bouncy.
Yeah. The car sickness was a little bit unpleasant.
But it was good. It was good thinking on your part to have the meeting because it made good use, by the way, of the time there and back.
We are now 2 for 2 in 2019.
Yeah, amazing.
Thumbs up for us.
Amazing.
And our meeting this morning was pretty productive.
I think so. It gives us our little nugget of the world for the next 30 days and what our focus is. And that's what these vital factor meetings are all about. Well, they're about having that focus.
At the beginning, you were like, we have to pick the first day of the month or the first Monday of the month kind of thing. And I think what we did was a little bit better by picking the first Wednesday of the month because I think Mondays are always shitty and busy and people always have giant emergencies, and I think that might have been part of why we're neglecting it a little bit. So we picked a little bit quieter day, and now we're 2 for 2, and I'm pretty impressed with us because I do feel like we're more successful when we successfully have meetings. Yeah.
Yes, we are much more successful.
And there's still the same amount of time in between meetings. You're still setting the goal for the period of time. You're just labeling it February, despite the fact that it's not actually 100% February.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right, but that's always designed that February is the meeting that you look back at January.
Right. It's labeled February because that's when the meeting is.
Right, and the
For no other
forward
reason.
thinking that you're doing is for February. So you kind of have to have some of your things go over into the next month so that they kind of get pre-approved by the group that, yeah, that's a good idea. You should do that. Otherwise, you get to the meeting time, you kind of have this idle period where you're doing nothing, and then you have like 26 days to get a whole bunch of stuff done.
Right.
So you have to have a little bit of it pre-approved, I think. But it's just interesting because I have noticed, I can correlate, and that's something you should always try to do, right? When you're thinking things through, if you want to know what's true, you have to have something to correlate it to. And I think you can correlate this to, what was I trying to say? I think that you can correlate it to...
Clearly weren't trying to correlate it to consecutive strings of thought.
No, I was trying to make it correlate to something positive
Do you want to know what I think?
occurring.
You can think about whatever you're trying to correlate.
Uh-huh.
I think you and I work better as a team on the big picture when we have these meetings. I think that when we let too much time go by without chatting about how things are going and where things should be going, that we lose sight of the common goal and we just like run in our own directions.
That's a very good point. And that was what the correlation was going to be.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Was going to be that having the meetings does, for some reason, equate to more success. And one of the things I've learned from reading the memos that I've been reading is how important that focus is.
Makes sense.
And, you know, I think like today it was interesting that we were like, all right, let's talk about these things from last time. Did this get accomplished? And we went through the, stale tasks list just to see where things stood, and we crossed off things that were done.
There were very few that were not done.
And if something was done but like needed another step, it got brought forward and given another date with a new name. But then a lot of things were, there was more not done than I thought should have been not done. But you're right, it wasn't as terrible as it has been.
Well, hold on though. At least half of what was not done had due dates of February 15th or later.
Well, that's a good point.
That doesn't need to be done.
That's
You don't really know that part.
We were on target, but we were on target. And that's a good point. But here's the thing. So we examined all of that, and we were able to say, all right, we need, in order to continue to keep the content engine revving at full speed, we need help. And in order to do this, we need a little bit of help. So we have to decide, do we invest money back into our business to grow bigger or what? And obviously we've chosen to invest money back in the business to grow bigger and just be focused.
And it even led to, so we took some action steps after the meeting too. Like I had a chat with our virtual assistant about what she can bring to the table and what her availability is like. She's going to get back to me tomorrow.
Well, that's good.
So, yeah.
That's good. That's really good. I mean, it's exciting to me when we have those meetings consistently. And, but that leads me back to, since we kind of went off on the business tangent, which is good every once in a while. I like for people to see what it is we do and
apparently
how we
can
work.
Be professional once in a while.
And how we work with people, And, I mean, that is what we do. We do it's interesting. We don't hold our meetings like a completely formal, must be here kind of a thing, In fact, when we were doing those meetings, if someone was out of town, they didn't even have them dial in to the meeting because they felt that the technology was a distraction.
At the last place you did these meetings, I was like,
They thought it was a distraction, so they wouldn't even have you dial in. So it had to be like, if everybody needed to be out of town on a certain day for some reason,
Uh-huh.
We couldn't have the meeting because we couldn't meet in person.
Would you just reschedule it for a different day?
No, we would move it completely to the next week.
Did you have them every week?
Yes.
Interesting.
So they would just skip one. And, it was very, very strict. We're not as strict. We're a little more lax and loose. But I like our approach because we're agile. And that's what we should be. I mean, when I learned project management was the agile project management style. And it's well named because it doesn't bring out like all these details about what you're supposed to get done. It just kind of gives you the gist of what you're supposed to get done. And then the details could be in the description or whatever, but on your list, you just see this little short little thing.
Uh-huh.
It helps you by making you enticed to jump in and, deal with that. That's that focus that I'm talking about. And I think I like it when we have the focus.
Me too.
Because you're right. I didn't think of it that way, but you're right. We do a pretty good job of being tactical. Mike, I need help because somebody wants me to do this and I don't really have time, and you have the time. Can you do it? Sure, I'll do it. Boom. We're tactical. We can take the fires and put them out.
Right.
But we're not always strategic. And that's what we're trying to be now, is strategic.
Yeah.
Even the thing that I've been working on is strategic. Because it's long-term vision, bigger vision.
The kitties are loving each other behind the couch.
Yes, they're cute.
Oh, it's so cute. Okay, it's cute now.
They do like each other.
Whoever scratched Parker in the eye needs to not aim for his eye next time.
But speaking of animals, and I kind of was headed there, and I came back to the business thing for a minute because it, I don't know, kind of turns me on these days. But
well then,
what
Too much
first of all,
information.
these damn cats have been here near me for days now. They should just go away. But anyway,
don't chase them away.
Olive, she can leave.
Don't you be mean to my Olive. I will kick you in the nose.
Be gone,
Hair.
Panther.
She says, F yourself.
Out of here, Panther. Whoop, whoop.
Colossally F yourself.
Panther. Okay, anyway. The wiener. The wiener's gone.
The wiener is gone. He deserted us late last night.
Dunkin. He is gone. The Dunk Man is no more.
He's now ramen.
Don't call him food. That's not nice.
That's what his name is.
No, it's not. His name is Dunkin.
No, his name is Ramen. And he
No.
lives with his brother Dim Sum.
No, you've got it all wrong. They changed his name from Ramen to Dunkin. Don't you know this?
I don't know if you're dumb or if you're a lunatic. But
Couldn't I be both?
You're making creepy eyebrows at me right now.
Couldn't I be both? Dumb and a lunatic?
I
A lunatic that's dumb, or a dummy that's a lunatic,
That's horrifying.
or a really dumb lunatic? Wow.
That's the worst.
Just think about it. I mean, you could be all of those things.
All I see is
Maybe
cat-
you're the one who taught me.
Hey!
Ooh, that took a second. Did you guys hear that? There's a drum roll in there. I'm going to put a drum roll in.
I'm going to throw this pillow at your face.
You got to stop with the props because, the people, they can't see the props.
They'd certainly hear the pillow hitting your face and your microphone, though.
You are like my buddy Jackson. That dude does not like the word belief. The dude hates that word. I don't know if you noticed during the show. I kind of low-key noticed. But when I was listening to that back, that bro, every time someone used the word belief, he would say, well, belief isn't necessary.
You low-key noticed, yet you pointed it out loudly during the show. Okay.
Well, That's because I was at the point where I finally realized it's really true that he hates the word.
Low key notice.
So I low-key
You just
did
noticed.
and then all of a sudden I noticed.
You dingus.
My gosh. Why can't I define my experience my way?
Because you're not
Why
allowed
must
to
I
define
define
it
my
wrong.
experience your way?
You're defining it wrong.
Oh, now, if we were talking about a transgender person, you'd be defending their right to do whatever. But when I say what I say, oh, well, that's because you're wrong.
On what planet?
There's something wrong with that approach.
Hold up, though. Hold up. On what planet? You're a lunatic.
On what planet?
Do I defend people's rights to do whatever they want ever? I only defend my rights and your rights. I don't really give a shit about anybody else.
That bothers me.
Why?
Because it does.
I just don't care.
Because I actually do care about other people.
Maybe I just don't care about anybody right now, because I'm kind of tired. Because I'm not usually a bitch, and you're kind of treating me like I'm being one right now.
Well, because you kind of are being one
There
right
you
now.
go.
Like
Clearly, I need
People
to Snickers,
do-
'cause I'm not myself when I'm hungry.
people do deserve
Not hungry.
the attention that I'm not getting.
Pay attention, you shut up.
Yeah, like people will know by the way that sounded how far away from your microphone you were, which will show them just how much you were paying attention as they heard you cackling in the
But
background.
listen, it gets better than that. Not only was I far away from my microphone, it was off.
Oh, gee, I wonder how long it's been off.
It hasn't. I turned it off when I and then back on because I didn't want it to make totally random floor sounds.
That might be a little bit better. We'll see. I hate when we have these conversations because they're a mess to edit. They are.
Why don't you just leave it there?
Because they don't like those conversations to be part of the show. So, okay. So, Wiener's gone. They came. They were happy. Wiener was happy. Bye-bye, Wiener. Gave him a few kisses. Told him I loved him and I was going to miss him. And I do love him. And I am going to miss him.
I was going to say you lied to the wiener.
No. I love that little dude. He's the
I love-
weirdest, crankiest old man dog I've ever met. And I'm not saying that in a malicious way. He's just weird and cranky. Would you agree with me that he's weird and cranky?
Did I look like I was going to
Just
disagree with you?
asking. I'm just asking. Do you agree? It's a question we need to tell the audience. Do you agree that he was weird and angry?
No, I don't think he was angry.
Then what was he?
Well, you
Get
said
a word
cranky the
again.
first time, so I think cranky is a
Cranky?
better word.
Okay, I'll
But I
go
don't
with
think that he was weird.
and cranky. You don't think he was weird?
No, I think he was just old.
You don't think him going when he's trying to burrow into a blanket that he's not actually trying to burrow into, like he's just sitting there doing nothing and making that noise? Hello,
He
weird,
was willing it to burrow on top of him.
weird.
Not weird. He's just old.
Yog dog, normal.
On what
That
effing
dog,
planet
weird.
is this dog normal?
And then you got
Have
Odie.
you seen him eat?
Then you got Mr. Odie. Love that dog. He's so damn cute.
Yeah,
We should have kept that dog.
he's happy where he is.
I think he's happier where he is. And I think the reason that he's happier has nothing to do with how we treated him. It has to do with the fact that he gets to be the center of attention.
He gets 100% instead of 50% of dog attention. Oh my
Yep.
god, there's a raptor cat back there.
Yes, she's attacking my handy hand.
I have to describe to you what I see from my angle when that cat wants affection from behind the couch. So the first thing I see is the little pointy ears. And I'm like, oh god, there's a cat there. And then I see the eyes peering over the couch. So I like to describe this as her velociraptoring because she looks just like the velociraptor from the first Jurassic Park movie when it was like peering over the edge of the counter. And then the next thing I see is her tail come up and like swish back and forth. So she 100% looks like the velociraptor from Jurassic Park.
That's funny.
It's adorable. It's ridiculous. We have our own baby furball velociraptor in the house.
And she's purring like a demon. This is the cat that we rescued from outside. Like, my God, who the hell does that? Nobody.
We're suckers for animals. You and I, suckers, just giant suckers.
Yep, we are.
Like when the dude who adopted Dunkin was sitting here, and he's like, "Oh, there's another cat," and I was like, "Actually, there's 3 of them because we're a sucker and suckers, and we can't say no to animals." And he kind of gave me this look, like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Well, we adopted the black one. The white one is a house guest that turned into a permanent house guest."
Which, by the way, isn't a bad thing.
No. And whatever you call that color, she just gave me a really dirty look.
She's like orange and gray and black. And,
she kind of looks like every single cat
something
color
exploded
was
on
loaded
her.
into a paint gun
And then just shot
at
on
her.
Yes.
Her.
She's beautiful. We have the 2 most beautiful female cats, I think, that are alive. If you disagree, send us an email, info@yogispodcastnetwork.com.
We brought her in the house. What?
Don't talk over the top of me when I'm giving out the email address, ya goobfest.
Well, you were actually talking underneath me because I was talking first. So there. But
the playback always proves you wrong.
I'll still get blamed for talking over you.
Do you realize that I can do magic and make it sound like you were talking over me, even if it was the other way around?
Yeah,
So
and that's probably
why
what
the
happened.
playback never proves me wrong.
Anyway, so she kind of, do you remember when we first picked them up, we intended that we would get her fixed and then put her back outside?
Yeah.
I don't even know how we ever, even once, for 2 seconds, thought we were actually going to successfully accomplish that.
Yeah, that quickly, within 5 minutes, became impossible.
Yeah, because she came in and she goes into the drop trap and she was pissed. Like, she rammed her head into every single side of that crate. She had cuts on her head. She was pissed.
Yeah, we're talking about you.
And then we get her in the house and let her free in the bathroom, and she chills out a little bit. She drinks some water. She's like, "Oh my God, I am so stressed." And then she realizes that it's us and that nobody tried to kill her and that she's just in a bathroom. And then the purring began, and it hasn't stopped.
Exactly. Since the very beginning, she's been the purrific kitty.
But anyway, we can't say no. We could have tried to get her adopted, found her a freaking home. She's beautiful.
Nobody would have adopted her.
She's beautiful.
She was too old. She was too old and haggard. Poor old thing.
She wasn't old at all. She's the youngest cat in the house.
Shh. Don't tell her that. I don't tell her that.
She thinks she's worldly, but she's just a baby.
She's my girl. I love this cat. She is probably the first cat I've ever lived with that chose me.
That's why you like her so much.
And you know what? You're right. It's why I like her so much. She won me over because she chose me. You know what? I don't love her any less. The olive one.
You know why I love her the most?
Because she chose you.
She's the only cat that's ever chosen me.
Wow.
Well, Parker kind of chooses me sometimes, but I don't really.
Parker is interesting. I really like him a lot. And he doesn't deserve the crap you guys give him sometimes. Because that cat, he may look like he's a little slow, but he's not.
Have you heard him?
That cat is smart. He knows exactly what to do. He talks a blue streak. He never damn shuts up. If he hears an alarm go off accidentally at 2 a.m, the damn cat doesn't shut up because he's not capable of figuring out that it's not the normal time. That's the part where he's a little slow. But the rest of it, he's just a little sneaky little jerk.
The most destructive animal in the entire house. He has destroyed the most things. And that's including when we had Odie for 4 months, and he destroyed every toy Yogi owned.
Yeah, he did. That dog. That cat.
That's including the fact that Yogi ate 3 of your sleep mask things.
Mm-hmm. Don't remind me. I get really angry every time I think of that.
But Parker ate your, like, expensive headphones, 2 pairs of them.
No, only one.
Was the other pair him? Oh, never mind.
Again. Not wise to stir the hornet's nest.
Then Parker ate, like, 8 pairs of Mitchell's headphones. And you can argue that partially that's Mitchell's fault and partially that's Parker's fault, so we'll call it 4.
Yeah, there you go.
Then he's eaten about
Half credit.
5 pairs of my headphones, so there's another 2.5.
Nah, I'd say 3 to you, 2 to him.
See this finger? This is for you.
Because you still leave shit around. I'm like,
He chewed
my
the living shit
bleeping
out of the vacuum cleaner
George
cord.
Jefferson.
The vacuum cleaner cord.
Oh, my bleeping George Jefferson. Did
He's
you
now-
not hear what I just
I'm
said?
just choosing to ignore you because you're being ridiculous.
Why am I being ridiculous? You never heard the Jeffersons? Moving on up to the top.
He's also chewed every single fan cord in the house. He's eaten at least 30 phone cables. He has chewed the shit out of how many laptop cables, including yours, so shh.
He almost started a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He chewed it, and then we couldn't figure out, we thought the funky ass smell was coming from the laptop, and there was something wrong with the laptop. And then it starts smoking, and you, like, unplugged it, and you, like, danced across the living room, and then realized the smoking part didn't come with you. And he was laying on the floor.
Yeah. Thank you, Parker. That cat.
He's the most destructive animal in the house.
But he's
that's
so
ever
cute.
been in our house.
But he's so cute. I love that cat. I do.
And then he pisses off the she-cats because he's probably rude.
But then you say he's probably rude. Well, now, okay, wait. I have never had a thought about Parker like that. So you got to explain, where do you connect the dots that he's, quote, probably rude,
Okay.
end quote?
I will describe to you this scene.
I mean, this sounds like it's going to be hilarious, people. So let's pay close attention. Here's Torya explaining why Parker was probably rude.
I'm sitting there in the morning in the bathroom. And as always, at least one cat follows you into the bathroom. But this morning I had 2. Miss Olive and Parker. And they were pissed that I did not give them food when I went into said bathroom. So they were sitting by the door, glaring at me. And then Parker gets up, and he does his, like, jump into the bathtub and rear at you 16 times, and then jump out of the bathtub because he's pissed you didn't turn on the water. And then he sits down facing Miss Olive, who's in front of the door facing me. So I can see Parker's back, and I can't see what his face looks like. And Miss Olive's just looking at me like Miss Olive does. She has resting bitch face. She just can't control herself. And she's just looking at me, and then all of a sudden, Parker, like, reaches out with a paw and, like, taps her on the face really hard. And she was like super alarmed. And then she, like, shook her head and she went back to staring at me. And then the next thing I know, her paw's in the air and she thwaps him like 11 times. And he gets mad.
So she sneak attacked him? She acted like she wasn't going to attack back, and then as soon as she settled in, she just, like, whoopah!
11 whoopahs.
Wow.
But I think that he probably,
Go
like...
Olive. I love it.
She wasn't doing anything to him at first. And then he just, like, will paw her on the top of the head. And then when she settles down, I feel like he must have been, like, saying mean things with his eyes. And that's why he gets beat
rude.
up.
That's funny.
I think he's rude.
You have an actual reason, too. I think that's sort of cool.
I think he's rude.
I'm just not even going to argue with you. If you want to say he's rude, he's rude. What a rude cat you are, Parker. You're so rude.
Thou rude.
I never would. So funny. I never would have thought Parker's rude.
But
what?
You want to know what's even funnier?
But you made a good case for it just now. He really could be rude.
Do you want to know what's funnier? I think I've told you like 17 times that I think Parker is rude, and you've never asked me why, so you've never gotten to enjoy the stories of why I think Parker is rude. Because I have, like, this has happened, the same situation, like, more times than I can count. that Parker has just gotten his ass kicked because he's done something small and rude.
You know what? He only hangs out with me after he's had a falling out with one of the she-cats. So, and that's the only time he hangs out with me.
Okay.
He'll keep his distance, like, across the bed and whatever. But when he's had a falling out with one of the she-cats, suddenly it's like, oh, you're going in the bathroom? I'm going in the bathroom. Oh, you're going to go out in the living room? I'll go with you in the living room. Oh, I'll sit right next to you near the couch. Yeah, he thinks I'm going to protect him. So he's
but
like,
you won't.
He's like following me around. Well, you know what? If he does something that deserves getting his ass kicked, fine. But if they just jump on him, no, I'm not going to allow that any direction. You know?
Well, yeah.
If somebody does something that deserves getting their butt kicked by the other cat, let them have at it.
Well, there was remember that short period of time where the pretty girl was being really aggressive towards Parker?
But see, okay, let's clarify something. You know, have at it is kind of like what you said to Olive, you know, pop, 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 pop. That's it. And they walk away.
Yeah.
They don't get into like a knockdown, drag out, rolling around, screaming and yelling fight. They just pop one another once in a while, and that's it.
It was a knockdown, screaming fight. Do you remember he fell off the back of the couch because I put him in the hoodie? And she assaulted him?
Yeah.
I'm glad she's stopped doing that. That was relatively unpleasant.
Well, the more she trusts us, she watches how we act towards the other animals, and she treats them accordingly. That's what I think happened. Her treatment of the others is a reflection of how she views our treatment of the others.
That seems reasonable.
But it also, first, we had to gain her trust.
Yeah, that was another experience where I think Parker probably did something rude to her and she like went street cat on him.
Probably. I mean, after what you're telling me, like I said, he never hangs out with me unless he's in an argument with one of the she-cats. And so I never see how he interacts with the she-cats ever.
Next time you're in a room alone with him and Olive, you'll see it. It'll happen.
Parker, are you rude?
Is he back there too?
Yes, he's rude. He's back here and he's saying, yes, he's rude. He admits being rude. He says guilty as charged.
Anyway, did you see where the Yog Dog went?
No. He is sleeping. He's very cute. He's very furry. And he's very much the CEO.
He's napping like the CEO.
Yep. He takes banker's hours. So, speaking of banker's hours.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.